When you walk up to the vehicle with a key, it has a proximity key system, and it'll sense the key when it gets to a certain point. And once it senses the key, it turns on these lights here on the side mirror, which illuminate the ground a little bit as an approach light. They're not super bright, but it do give you some kind of light here when you walk up to the vehicle. Now hit the unlock button. Side mirrors unfold. We still have the approach lights there, and then the exterior lights now turn on. If you choose the DRL off position on the headlight switch, you can turn off all the exterior lights and you can drive this way. Now I had the parking lights on, and the parking lights consist of these very bright daytime running lights now here in the front of the vehicle, and these could potentially be mistaken for headlights, so they shine in front of the vehicle quite a bit. But yeah, without the headlights on, these things could be mistaken for that. They're very, very bright and sharp LEDs. There's also an amber side marker here in the front as well. Tail lights wrap around to the side of the vehicle, serving as a side marker. Nice deep red all the way across the entire back of the vehicle. Nice brighter there on the ends, but it has a nice soft glow in the middle. Looks a little bit blown out, but it's a deep red. Looks really nice. Then the tag lights are also on, and they shine on the ground a little bit, acting as an approach light a little bit. When I put the turn signal on, it turns off that daytime running light that's very bright, because it might overpower the turn signal. It's not going to turn off the headlight, just that daytime running light. And you have an amber LED. It's kind of more on the inner side of the headlight housing. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Nice, sharp, and bright enough. Very bright, actually. Everybody should be able to see that. Now, there's also an amber turn signal indicator here on the side mirror. It's not really visible from the front. It is from the side and some way here in the back. There is, if you go too far this way, then you can't really see it, but it's mostly intended for the people in your blind spot, like here, to see it. And then the turn signal back here is amber in color. It's in that bottom part. There's two little strips there that are amber. Nice, bright LEDs. So amber in color, bright enough, in a high position, so really good in that. Now there's also a third brake light at the top of the glass, and then the reverse lights are integrated into the tail lights. Okay, so this is what it looks like without the headlights. Let's go ahead and turn the headlights on. There we go. And then the fog lights, you can see they're closer to the vehicle there, so you can see not a huge difference, but it does help out just close to the vehicle. Now the daytime running lights are much dimmer now, so they were much brighter. So when you turn the headlights on, those dim down quite a bit. And then there's a triple auto leveling LED projector system here. Looking pretty good. And then the fog light is also a projector as well. Now there's also a cornering light. So right in here, if you can see right there, there's a cornering light that will illuminate the vehicle, the side that you're turning it anyway. So if I turn the steering wheel right here, you can see it turn on. So now you can see that's illuminated. So we can just go ahead and, all right, so there it's off. It's kind of hard to tell when it's not that dark right here. And then turn the steering wheel, now it's on. So yeah, I'll show you what it looks like in a darker area when we drive. So I had the low beams on, and I'm 6 feet tall. I can look directly at the headlights. Now the very outer ones are a little bit brighter than the rest. But I dip the camera down, you'll see that most of the light is down this way. So about 2.5, 3 feet off the ground is where most of the light is. So it's a clear cutoff, and above that, the headlights are much dim. So trying to avoid the oncoming drivers, basically, blinding them and having a glare in their face. But that outer one is significantly brighter, even at this high level. Switch to the high beams, and when we switch to the high beams, the fog lights turn off. And so basically, this auto leveling system, it's the same three lights. We're just refocused up, and so we'll see how they perform on the road. Usually Lexus has a pretty good headlight system, so we'll see how they look. And I like the way it has 3 on each side. So yeah, we can overlap the light in a way that gives us really good coverage on the road. So looking at this cargo lights, this one does have the third row. I just have it folded down because there's like no room to put my equipment. if I have it folded up. But to give you an idea, it has a center light right here, and it has these little lights right here. So right here is a light, and it shines in this area right here. And then same thing over here. You can see where it's kind of shining on my case right there. Those help out a lot. It's still not that great, but having these little lights helping out, and that right there does a good job of illuminating this area and most everywhere. So I wish they did this with the Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser basically has a very similar setup, except for this light is too far forward, and it's mostly shining up there, and it's not giving us the coverage that we have here. So very interesting why it's a little bit different in that vehicle. But yeah, this one's okay. I mean, it's could be better, but as it is, it's right there at the adequate range. We have some buttons here, backlit, USB ports there to backlit here, and also there. And the buttons to lower the power lift gate are also they're backlit. So there's a power lift gate here. The inside of the back door does have a puddle light, so you can see what you're stepping in when you get out. Now you'll notice there's some red light here. So this red light, this is the ambient light system, and I have it set to red so we can point it out here. It's around the handle, and it's right in here. These pockets here are not illuminated. And then this back seat here has a light there, basically a little tap reading lights. Some of that light kind of comes this way a little bit, but most of the light is coming from here. And it does a decent job here in the back. It's mostly in the lap area, the light. And then there is USB ports here that are not illuminated. You can see with the cover is shut like that, and then you can see the climate control. There's no problem seeing that. Front door also has a puddle light and the ambient light, which is red, right in this area. Backlit buttons as well. No pocket light down here or anything. There's a little bit of a floorboard illumination there on the outer portion. So right in this area. And the front lighting is just coming from these little reading lights there. Tiny bit of light in the back is coming through in the center, but most of it's coming from there. Okay, so I have the interior lights on with the door open. Let's go ahead and shut the door and see what we're left with here. Now the ambient light is very, very, very subtle. So let me just turn the brightness up on this camera a little bit. So there, I think that helps out a little bit. So yeah, we have, let's go ahead and start here. Steering wheel is backlit, and you see the backlit buttons here. The floorboard is now red because it matches the ambient color. When I close the door, you can see it's white, and when I shut the door, it turns to red. All right, now there's also, you can see the screen here. Go ahead and turn the camera on while we're looking at the screen so you can see how well that works at night. Works fine. It works really good actually. And then you have the backlit buttons. The screen right here looks all good. Okay, so this ambient light is right in here, and I had to turn the brightness way high on the camera so you can see it because it's not very bright. It's barely noticeable right in here, and then it has some just kind of right on this edge right here. This compartment does have a light, which is nice. And then you got the glove compartment light, which is also good. A little bit of ambient light right there on the dash and the floorboard. You can see there on the door. But yeah, not like really fancy or anything, just very, very subtle. You might not even notice it, you know, unless you have a camera and you're looking at it through like what you're looking at. Just like sitting right here, it's barely noticeable with my eyes. So the rearview mirror has some HomeLink garage door opener controls here that are backlit. Up here we have controls more. These lenses, you just tap the lens, turn on the interior lights here, and it mostly just shines right here in the, you see how high I had the camera turned up, but right here it's kind of like a reading light. So the light doesn't shine in my face, it shines right here. So if I need to read something or look at something, then I can see it fine right here. The visor has a mirror, a little tiny mirror with a light above it. It's fairly bright though. It does shine a lot in my face actually, which I guess that's the point of it. The heads-up display, to my eyes, is clear and fine, no problem. When I aim a camera at it, sometimes it gets a little fuzzy looking, or it looks double printed, something like that. I'm not sure what the deal is, but to my eyes, it looks good. It's clear, it gives you basic information, and yeah, I have no problem with the heads-up display. You can change the color theme under illumination in the vehicle customize setting, and so you can customize, or there's different themes that are preset here that you can have. It's kind of like light and then off-white, orange, yellow, and there's like a teal, green, blue, purple, and then red. And then you can hit the customize button right here and choose a color here if you want to change it. So we'll change it to like a blue, like so. So now everything turns blue. You can also change the brightness by zone. So if you front, rear, or foot area, you can adjust the brightness independently if you like by zone. You can turn that off if you want and just customize all zones at the same time with the brightness. So yeah, there's custom, or you can have a theme. When I first start the vehicle, the headlights are going to go through the range of motion. So they don't turn left and right, they only go up and down. So it's an auto leveling system. So it'll just go through the range of motion, and the auto leveling system doesn't keep them level all the time. It's only when you like floor it, and then it lifts up the front end, and all it does is just help push them down a little bit. It doesn't like over bumps and stuff. It doesn't keep them level. When we put the vehicle in reverse, the cornering lights will automatically turn on. So you can see in this area right here, they'll turn on. So even if we're not going left or right, it also automatically turns on the cornering lights just to give you an extra light while you're backing up. And then when we turn, if we put the turn signal on, it turns on the cornering light. But also when we turn the steering wheel, it does it that way as well. And here on the right side, the cornering light turns on. And it's not quite as noticeable on that side, but you can see it. It does help out a lot. So here is the fog lights on, fog lights off. All right. So you can see it's mostly just close to the vehicle that the fog lights help out with. So there's the headlight pattern on a fence. You can see there's a little bit of a notch right in here that's supposed to line up with the oncoming lane. There's the high beams, there's the low beams. Have the automatic high beams turned on. We'll see how well they work. Go ahead and turn off the fog lights so you can see what it looks like on the road here. Okay, so that shadow is lining perfectly with the oncoming lane, near perfectly. It's actually two shadows, one coming from each headlight, and they both line up fairly well on the oncoming lane. And the low beams has a really unified, like how do I say this? The cutoff is very uniform all the way across. The sides of on the sides of the road is really well lit, and the light is very even. So yeah, the low beams are excellent. I can already tell just right here in this area, before we get to the dark road, that they're bright enough. They illuminate the ground evenly, and they give us excellent view on the sides of the road, which is very important, especially for animals or anything. All right, so let's go down here, and we have the high beams here. Let's go ahead and turn off the automatic high beams so we can have control. Okay, so there's the low beams. Yeah, looking really good. And then there's the fog lights on, fog lights off. Leave them on now. Now we go to the high beams. Oh yeah, Yeah, these are really good headlights. I can see the trees in the distance. Everything is so uniform. There's no patchiness. I can see the trees in the distance. The road is illuminated all the way down the road. And there's no like shadow that's stopping me. So like say when I turn on the high beams, those shadows are no longer an issue. Those are only for low beams. So yeah, it is really well done. So yeah, low beams, you can see the shadow there. But when I turn the high beams on, it is just illuminated everywhere. Yeah, the distance is excellent. Size of the road is great. Low beams are great. So yeah, these are definitely really good headlights. So that triple beam system seems to work really well. One of the things I like about static headlights like this is that they don't like motion headlights. The only reason why you'd have to have headlights that move left and right is because you don't have that much light and you have to aim it in a particular direction. With headlights like this, you have light everywhere because and so you're not lacking. You're not having to have the light turn left to right. You already have light there. There's no reason to turn it that way. You're already illuminated in that direction. So yeah, the lights like this are really, you know, what I prefer in vehicles. You know, I mean, these aren't the absolute best headlights, but they are really, really good.